Well, hello, everybody. Josh Thomas, a mortgage broker in Utah. How are you today? You having a great summer so far? Is it hot? Uh, I've had a few moments where I've been like, anybody want to go to Alaska? Maybe take a trip to Antarctica? Anyway, or I guess Northern Alaska would work too. I'm not too picky. Just give me a little bit of cool for a moment. Thank goodness for the ACs anyway. But yeah, so Josh Thomas, mortgage broker, how are you today? I wanted to go through and share with you just a little insight. Um, there's an article that I read, and I thought, you know what, this is good stuff for people. So what this is why is so much paperwork required to get a mortgage? This is a conversation I've had hundreds for sure, maybe thousands of times, and this is funny. This little article is probably not too crazy insightful for it, but it is still a funny topic. And so, number one, the government has set new guidelines. By new, they mean dating back to 2011 and 12, that now demand that the banks prove beyond any doubt that you are indeed capable of paying the mortgage, and that is true. Uh, these guidelines, for the most part, existed before, but when the government got involved, there's a few hiccups during a video. Really, there's a few exceptions to this, but generally the rules are pretty tight, and the consequences to the lenders are pretty significant. And so you definitely have a lot more lenders following this now. The standards are definitely higher. And then you see down here, the banks don't want to be in the real estate business. What they mean by that is they don't want to foreclose on you. A lot of people think that they do, and I'm not entirely convinced they don't sometimes, but um, basically, they probably don't really want to be in the mortgage in the real estate business. But I will say that there's a third reason too, and this one a lot of you guys have heard me talking about. But in 2008, when the market tanked, there were two companies that went out of business. Now, if anybody remembers Enron, that was a $6 billion, or is it 9 billion? I think it's $6 billion bankruptcy. And Enron was like all over the news for weeks or months. I don't even remember, because they were such a massive amount of money being bankrupted. I guess they wanted to investigate. Well, in 2008, Lehman Brothers went out, and when Lehman went out, they had 600 billion that was bankrupted, and so that's kind of a big deal. And then Washington Mutual went out of business around the same time. Washington Mutual went out when they had 3.2 billion dollars in cash, like people had deposited. And if you know anything about banking, that means that they can actively lend something like $12 billion or whatever, or even up to $30 billion of loans. And so if you do the math on that, it's like, why in the world did they go out of business if they had that kind of liquid? And it has everything to do with fitting into the rules. When you have a loan and you want to sell that loan needs to fit certain rules. And so this is the third reason for this article, is that if it doesn't fit those rules, they can't get rid of that loan. And if they can't get rid of that loan, they're illiquid. And that's why both of them went out of business back then. Washington Mutual especially, is because they simply didn't have the liquidity. They had the assets, but they didn't have the liquidity. And that's a big, big deal to banks. And so that's another part of the reason that so many rules. So anyway, that's basically it in a nutshell. I just wanted to share with you, a couple reasons why we ask for so much stuff, and we do. It's crazy. It really is crazy. Some of the things I can't even begin to tell you why we can or can't. It just is until somebody changes it. Anyway, so as always, if you want to reach me, if you thought this was useful, share it. If you want to reach me, reach out to me. Here's my website, joshthomasmortgage.com. There's my contact info and that of my teams. There's my company's contact info. You guys have a wonderful day and wonderful summer. And remember, sunscreen, don't get burned up too hot. All of your 4th and 24th of July plans. Be careful. Don't burn your house down. Don't burn down your neighbor's house. That's actually kind of a more real threat this year. But in case you do, I also know of a good renovation loan, or construction loan. Give us a call. You guys have a great rest of your day. We'll catch you then. Thanks. Bye.